Hey everybody, I have a special update for you today. I'm out here in front of the Place of Hope, and you can take a look at it some right down here, especially for some of y'all that may have never been here. You just checking us out. There's the church. Here's our playground that the public basically uses. There's a church, the Bridge Creek Inn over there. Lots of great history right here in Rabun County. I want to share a little bit of some history, but also a personal story of my own, and also too about adoption. This is, if you don't know, the Place of Hope was a ministry that we started. The church started in 2020, and right in the thick of the nightmare of COVID, and we did it specifically to help foster families and adoptive families. So, but it all comes from scripture, comes from some heartfelt pain. It comes from seeing a huge need in our community as well. But if you belong to the Father, if you're a believer in Jesus Christ, you are adopted. In fact, that is how you belong to God, that God adopts you. And the truth of adoption, it just permeates the scriptures all the way through. And begin with Israel, the nation, not individuals, but the nation was adopted by God to be the nation, the light to the nation, so they see what God is like. This is Romans 9:4. Speaking of the Israelites, to whom belongs the adoption as sons, and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the temple services and the promises, Romans 9:4. But the Bible also speaks about believers individually being adopted, and it happens in the past, it happens in the present, it happens in the future. So we're adopted in the past. It says in Ephesians 1:5 that he predestined us to adoption as sons through Jesus Christ to himself, according to the kind intention of his will. And what that's saying there is that according to the kind of, he just chose to do this. He wanted to do this because that's who he is. His benevolent, loving character is that he adopted you way before you were even born. That has to do with predestination as well. As sons through, how's that happen? Not just because he it happened through the agency of Jesus, that he became our substitute on the cross, that by believing in him, trusting in him, in that instant you're made righteous, and you're also you go from belonging to the kingdom of this world to the kingdom of his son, that you are adopted. You have Satan as your father. Now if you're adopted in Jesus, you have God as your father. So that also carries through to the present, that you are adopted in the present. Galatians 4:5 says, so that he might redeem those who are under the law, that we might receive the adoption as sons. So that's talking presently right now. Anybody that receives Jesus as Lord, that we receive this adoption as sons. Not too long ago, well, it's been 2 or 3 years ago, one of our church members was adopting their son who'd been a foster child for a while, and I just saw the whole process in the court take place. And there was a time where the child could voice their opinion. I think he was 13 years old, something like that. And it was something he received. And now, of course, he receives that last name. He receives all the benefits of being a child of his new father. There's also what we have adoption that goes into the future. And not only this, but also we ourselves having the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting eagerly for our adoption as sons, the redemption of our body. That this is going to carry through into the future, where the final stage, if you will, of our adoption is complete whenever either we die or Christ returns and we meet the Lord in the air, as 1 Thessalonians 4 talks about. We receive a new body, one that will never perish. It'll be perfect, and there'll be that union there together, visibly and also without sin. So, because sometimes you can be a son but not act like one. We'll be his forever. both in our hearts and our actions. So think about I should have said this earlier, but think about what adoption is. It is the action of legally taking another's child and bringing it up as your own. That person, that child, receives all the rights, all the privileges, the inheritance as would a biologically born child into a family. And then that adopting child also incurs all the responsibilities of being a child in that home, chores and things like that, and even further into the future when that child becomes an adult. So think about it. God sovereignly adopts us. He makes us legally his, and we are transferred from one father, Satan, to God as our heavenly Father. And as his son or daughter, it is now our family business to go and proclaim his kingdom. It's the family business. It's our right and it's our responsibility. It's who we are. So speaking of responsibilities, let me speak personally why this means so much to me, not just because I'm a believer in Jesus and it's just part of who we are, but also too just the way I grew up. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and my parents had a hard time having kids right away, so they got married in 1960 and couldn't have kids. So 5 years later, they adopted my sister, Jorbeth, and she wanted a baby brother. She said she wanted a baby brother. I think she just took whatever she got. She got a baby brother, and that was me. My parents thought that they just kind of wrote off the idea of having kids of their own because they struggled having kids, like many of you perhaps do or have, or you know someone. But lo and behold, my mom goes to the doctor. She thinks she's got a tumor. Something's wrong with her. The doctor tells her, ma'am, you don't have a tumor. Your tumor has 2 arms, 2 legs, and a heartbeat. And that was me. And that was 1972. I was born. Then 2 years, you do the math. And then 2 years later, they fostered another child who was only a month younger than me. And right away, he became part of the family, and they adopted him. That was my brother, Jerry. So my family got involved, my mom in particular got involved with fostering and adoption in the community. I grew up in North Augusta, South Carolina. Go Yellow Jackets. And it was there that we grew up and had a great 70s, 80s, mainly 80s for me, childhood. But we were kind of an oddity in a lot of ways because there would be different foster kids in and out of our family. And you know, we'd come roll it up in the station wagon. We had a Chevette, you know, or whatever we had at the time, and out would pop out 7 kids, you know, like a clown car. And just people just didn't, foster and adoption was not that big a thing back then. People didn't understand it. And so people might have thought it was weird, but we didn't. You know, we would get questions sometimes, and sometimes it kind of, you know, it puzzled me, but it kind of made me angry. Like, hey, you're talking about my brother or my sister. So, and it reached a pain point even at the church that my parents attended at the time. They got out of church just because some of the kids didn't behave well. So it just kind of marked us. You know, we were kind of the black sheep, if you will. So in many different ways. Growing up, and eventually they stopped fostering after my brother and I got a little older, and but always held adoption close to my heart. And so when I became pastor here, just whenever I got into ministry, I always just kind of had a heart for it, and I always told the Lord, just because of that painful experience with church and family and that kind of thing, just seeing just the need to as well. I said, Lord, if you ever give us an opportunity to take a shot at helping families foster and adopt kids, I'm gonna take it. We're gonna do what we can do. And then about 2020, that happened. It happened with opportunity here, and we'll talk about it more in a minute. But I got a special guest for us in just a second. But with that, I just want to ask you, have you considered being a part of helping families foster, adopt, or perhaps even you yourself have considered that and just thought, well, that's too much. So that's what I want to talk with you about real quick. We're going to take a little walk here. So you're going to go walk with me. And again, this is Place of Hope. Real quick, just a real quick story on the building. It came available at the end of 2019, and we started talking about what we could do, and it was just need a lot of work. The Derrick family owned this. Some of y'all, Rabun County family, this is Derrick Street. Claude Derrick was a baseball player, actually played ball with Babe Ruth back in the day, and the church bought it, and we bought this. And this is Elizabeth Adams. Say hello to Elizabeth, everybody.
Hello.
And we're gonna walk in real quick and have a tour. And Elizabeth is going to tell us what happens real quick when a child or family comes in. So, Elizabeth,
yes,
talk
welcome.
to us.
Okay, so when kids come into care, we use this space, the living room and the kitchen, dining area, as our base when kids come into care. And then just kind of check in with them, make sure they've been fed, and we check them for lice, see what their clothes look like, assess that situation. If they do get to come to the house, they also will get to go upstairs and build a backpack.
Wow.
If they don't come to the house, then we take all those services to them wherever they land, if we can. And then we also use this space for visitation with biological family. Not every case, most cases have court-ordered visitation. And this is a homey environment that lets supervisors see how the family interacts, how's it going.
And that's one of the goals that, that is totally different than when I was first exposed to foster and adoption, is that the goal is to try as much as possible to get biological families back together.
Correct. The primary goal, we know the Lord doesn't make accidents, right? He doesn't,
right.
He's not like, oh no. So if there's a way to get the family back together, then we're gonna help that happen. If not, and it's not always possible, then we're going to do what we can to support the family who has them in the interim or who ends up adopting them.
Wow. Awesome. Okay.
So that's what this space is used for.
Okay. Just take a look at it real quick.
Yeah. It looks like the living
It's
room.
Joe and Joyce, mom and dad right there. Some of y'all know who that is, my mom and dad. So this is the kitchen. Tell us, it's a lot more than just a kitchen, but tell us what happens
So in here, we feed kids who are coming in with transition. This is where moms can cook for their visitation. We have a big dining table where they can do homework and sit around the table together. We have washer and dryer. A lot of times when they come into care or if they're moving placements, they need their clothes washed. So we'll do that here and just help in those ways. So that's what happens here. And then that's mostly what happens here. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's let's talk right here. So I think one of the big struggles that people have is they look at this and they want to do something and they think that's too big of a enchilada for me to get into.
I'm not called to foster.
Yes, and they've got to do the whole thing. It's all or nothing. But the great thing about this ministry is that there's different levels of engagement, involvement that people can have without jumping in totally. So tell people about that.
Okay, so the ways people can get involved are to be part of Foster with Hope, which is watching kids, or donating towards food. We feed all the foster families and all the foster kids once a month. You can volunteer to do that and help with kids, or if kids aren't your jam, you could help with food. If you wanted to participate in a care community, we have care communities, which is a support group wrapped around each foster family. And with that, you would commit to pray for the family and provide them a meal once a month. You can do, and that will put you in close contact with one foster family where you're building relationships. And then you can talk to the foster care workers and sign up to go through training. For foster care. The other way you can help is here. is in the transitions. That requires a little bit more training because we are dealing with the kids when they are in active trauma. And so that takes a little bit more time and training to do that, but it would mean we have teams that come around kids when they do come into care and help with that.
When I was growing up and just thinking about my mom and dad having foster kids, and I mentioned it earlier in the video, but just having a church that would come around the family and love on them and help them with date nights and help them with food and just encouragement too,
Just
and
listening.
just a respite, that kind of thing. Yeah, listening.
Yep.
And that's so huge here.
Yes, and that's one of the things that has the foster families in this area really appreciate is those care communities who are praying for them, who are doing things like we had a care community member. One day she was picking somebody up from a therapy appointment to take to the dentist office because they had double booked, and getting a dentist appointment for a kid takes months. So anyway, things like that you can step into, but that takes time to build trust with the foster parents because that's they're leery because not everybody understands what they do, and so it can be a lonely place.
What about the defects? I'd say a community because there's several of them.
Yes.
And just giving them support, and y'all built relationships and trust with them.
Yes.
Talk about that.
So we have built a good relationship with DFACs, and we enjoy them, and their hearts are in this. They have a hard job that very rarely are they thanked for. And so one of our callings is that we're going to love on all the people around the kids in order to fully love on the kids. And those are some of those people. So we take them a little something every other month. There is October is like DFACS Appreciation Month, and we try to love on them extra special that month. But if anybody wanted to participate in that, we would love to include them in how we love on them. But we have great DFACS workers in our county.
One last question. What has been the most encouraging interaction with kids or animal families that has, hey, this is what Place of Hope's all about?
We had a little girl who came. She was actually the first visit that ever happened at Place of Hope, and we were all kind of a little leery because we were like, what's this going to feel like? And she came in, and she visited with her mom over the next 8 months and ended up going back home to another family member. She didn't go home to her mom, but she still has contact with her mom. But right before she left, her foster family was getting a new foster child, and we had delivered some stuff, but we were coming back to grab some more stuff, and she wanted to come with me. So when we got here, she said, oh, one day I'm going to work at somewhere like this because it's such a cool place. And so that tells me,
Yeah. And it just reminds me of just a biblical principle, and when God first chose Abraham, he said, I'm blessing you so that you'll be a blessing to the nations. And so if you've been blessed much, then you have an opportunity to be a blessing to others. And good lesson from a little girl.
Yes.
So if people want to know more, what do they need to do?
They can contact me at, you can go on our website, and all of our email addresses or phone numbers are on there.
We'll put it in the comments.
Yep.
Place of Hope, North Georgia.
Place of Hope, North Georgia.
Yeah.
Put that, and so if you put that in the comments, then contact us and we'll steer you in the right direction.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Love y'all. We'll see you later.